storm-created openings. Talk to me about that.
All right, so we happened to be at the wind conference, and actually yesterday there was a little bit about this. And if you don't know much about the wind conference, they have the insurance adjusters and the public adjusters and the insurance defense attorneys and the plaintiff attorneys all on the same stage talking about wind damage and wind-driven rain. And wind-driven rain is excluded in the vast majority of policies, or there's limited coverage for it, at least.
Okay.
So if it's considered wind-driven rain, the coverage is limited. If it's a storm-created opening, though, then the coverage is full coverage A in most cases.
Got it.
So what is a storm-created opening is the real question. And the carrier side, the defense, will argue that if there's no visible damage, no permanent opening, then it's not a storm-created opening, it's simply wind-driven rain.
What is permanent opening?
That's a good question.
Okay.
So here's the postulate. You have a window, and wind pressure is pushing against it.
Sure.
And it's got a design threshold to hold back so much wind, and once it exceeds that threshold, it could allow water to enter around the glass pane.
Okay.
At the wind conference, I don't know the person's name. I wrote it down.
Somewhere.
Whatever.
You got it somewhere.
She is a prominent attorney.
Okay.
And Craig Coble was up there with Altieri. If you don't know Craig Coble, dude knows what he's talking about. Very good dude. You might ask him about this too. But he was trying really hard not to really fight her on this. It was kind of fun to watch, to be honest. She mentioned that that windows are designed to hold back so much pressure, and when they're tested for ASTM testing, they only have to withstand 15% of the required wind resistance in order to pass.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So she's saying that if the window isn't damaged and rain came in, then that's wind-driven rain. Let's say 15%. At 15% of the design threshold, water enters.
Yes.
So from 0 to 14%, there is no way water can enter this window area.
So 0 to 14, no storm-created opening.
Definitely not.
Got it.
At 15%, water comes in.
Yes.
Where is it coming in from? How is it getting from outside to inside? An opening
Yes.
has to occur.
Yes. That's how I would think about it.
It have to. It
Right.
does not. It doesn't. This isn't Star Trek.
Right.
An opening has to occur.
Yeah.
So if an opening occurs, but then maybe it's just pushed back just slightly and
Okay.
very thin opening. Maybe in the buffeting. It opens, it closes, opens, it closes.
Sure.
I don't know.
Sure.
But it's temporary because when the storm is over, it's
Goes
back
back
in
to
place,
right.
and it's watertight again.
Okay.
So now she admitted that water does come in, and she said that, at 15% threshold stuff, she didn't say it the way I did, but she's basically saying that
Sure.
she's basically arguing that water found its way in somehow, but that it isn't a storm-created opening. But for argument,
Sure.
but for the wind,
Yep.
would the water have come in? If it wouldn't have, then it's a wind-created opening. It's a storm-created opening, but it's only a temporary opening, and it's not observable any longer.
I see. I see where you're going. Okay.
See the issue?
Yep.
So there are policies that specify that the storm-created opening has to be permanent, and it actually will say permanent. But the vast majority of policies don't have any language that says temporary or permanent.
I feel like there's a good argument there, though, for temporary versus
Definitely.
permanent. There's a good argument for maybe there's no
So-
such thing as temporary opening, depending on who you ask.
So the policyholder has to prove their loss, right?
Yes.
How do you prove that an opening was there if it no longer is?
Yeah, I know. I mean, that's a hairy issue, but still, it had to have gotten in
Had to.
somehow.
Logic
What's going on here? Like you
dictates
said, it's
that
not
it
Star
was
Trek.
there.
Not Spock's birthday party we're waiting to get into. What's going on?
That would be illogical. He would not have a party.
Nonetheless, there is an opening. I totally see the issue.
Most of the time when these kinds of things come into play, you're talking about very large claims, and there's wiggle room on large claims.
Sure.
There has to be some negotiations back and forth just to be able to settle the loss. Otherwise, it could be dragged out forever because you're talking about big money. So a lot of times this issue isn't argued because it's one of the smaller problems that you're dealing with. But there are claims where this is the only issue, and this is determining whether or not there's coverage.
Well, Temporary opening, permanent opening. Tell us what you think.
If you're using the word opening for both of those, then there must have been an opening.
That's what I'm saying.
Anyway,
Had to have gotten in somehow. See you guys in the next one.
thanks.